Good morning, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? I am fine. Gold and silver are going crazy this morning. Gold's up to 41.65, and instead of getting the 10 o'clock drop, we're getting the 10 o'clock rise, which is unusual. So this is a good sign. It was 41.70. It's pulling back to 61. They're going to profit take 52.49 on silver. So we're getting back to 53 to 55 to 60. So here, 41.61. Okay. Now we have a bit of confusion from one of our classmates, which we will talk about. I won't name names, it's not polite. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. So we seem to have some mass confusion. Okay. So what is this mass confusion? 41.64, 50. So we go back to the beginning. They have money. They print it. They keep printing it. It's not backed by anything. The money goes to zero. Everybody with me now? The value of the US dollar goes to zero. Now, what's triggering this? Well, BRICS, the fact that China has 80,000 tons of gold, Russia 20,000, the rest of BRICS probably another 50,000. Yeah, that's what's causing this. I don't want to hear, well, it hasn't happened yet, so it won't happen. Okay, variables change as we talk about. What's creating the variables to change? BRICS, gold. Idiots like Biden, Trump, the government printing money like it's like, this is what the MMT people, the Rickards say. Oh, you can just keep printing it. We're the reserve currency. Okay. Meanwhile, the inflation is much higher than 2%. Go to the grocery store, everything's more expensive because they need more money because the money's not worth anything. 1 second before I burn my toast. I just finished my walk, so I don't want to eat before that. As you know, I don't want to eat before really 11, but it's 10:30. So you must understand variables change. That's why the 70 Steelers are no longer the best team in football in 2025, or the 60 Packers, or the 89ers. They change. Things change. Players retire. So the fact that dollar hasn't gone out yet, does that mean it won't go out? Now that's being naive with what I'm telling you. If they're printing the money and it's not backed by anything, it's worthless, hence why I rip it. Does anybody not understand that? Because that's about as basic as I can get in the world of Austrian economics, in the world of inflation, in the world of money printing to death. It has no value. You're paying $5 for a can of tuna now. So why is all the prices up? Because the dollar is worthless. So step two, then we say, well, what do we do? Well, you either stay in dollars or you look for an alternative. The alternative is gold and silver because you can't print gold and silver to death. And by the way, China's got 80,000 tons of it. Putin's got 20,000. Is he an idiot? I don't think so. So you have to go into gold and silver as the only way to survive. You can't be in stocks. You can't be in bonds. You can't be in real estate trust. As I told you about Vegas the other day, which is real estate trust, which I'll get into later. Luke, what's up? Well, I'm teaching you what's up. So you have all this. You have no option here. You either stay in paper and it goes to zero, or you buy gold and silver. Maybe a Mano card, maybe a Rolex, which will keep value, but you'd rather be in money, gold and silver. There's no option. And you have to own physical, because if you own ETFs or stocks, you don't own anything. They're paper. You must be in physical gold. And I tell you, when I tell you the gold price is based on paper options. And I show you Eddie Murphy and what is it, Trading Places. So that's why we do it. It should be very obvious after 5 years of teaching that you get that point. Now, you're in gold and silver because you have no option. The dollar's already collapsed, as you can see. So you don't buy it to profit take. Why would you want to get back into paper? Right? So you don't do it. As far as, I mean, that's your only option, right? You can't be in a real estate trust. We all saw Attack on Wall Street guy who lost 60 grand. Would you rather be that guy? Would you rather be the guy that, is sitting in Nazi Germany in 1923 with wheelbarrows full of money to buy food, milk and butter, or the guy in Venezuela, or the guy in Zimbabwe, or the guy in Portugal? What would you rather be? Would you rather be in a wheelbarrow full of worthless money, which is the dollar, or be in gold and silver? It's a very simple choice. I don't understand how anybody can't understand that concept. You don't sell it. It is not a profit-taking thing. Why would you profit take it and get back into so as I use the Titanic, you're in the Titanic, it's sinking. You get into the lifeboat. Why would you get off the lifeboat and back onto the Titanic? Oh, I need money to buy something. Okay, sell an ounce of gold and you can buy it now. Where we're headed is where the gold will do the buying. Now, I'm telling you, in 1923, they used gold to buy houses. You haven't heard it before. Well, there's a lot of things you probably haven't heard of. Are you up? Did you, it doesn't mean what people will take something of value for their assets. Now, I'm a couple years down the road saying the dollar's worthless, probably next year. When the dollar goes worthless, look at Trump. He's trying to do stable coins. You want to use stable coins to buy assets? Good luck. Who's selling it to you? Stablecoin has no value. It's backed by dollars. So I don't really understand the problem here. You have no option. You stay in dollars as they go to zero, and they're already there, or you get into gold and silver and watch it go up. I don't understand what the problem is. Gold's 41.70 today. I don't get what the problem is with it. You're not trying to sell it, so who gives a shit about tax? If you go to a guy who doesn't 1099 you, who cares? It's a capital gain. Nobody knows what you bought it for in the first place. So what's the big problem here? You pay tax when you go to a casino and play poker. I win a grand at poker. There's no tax on it. No 1099. The only time they 1099 you to casino is a slot machine win. You win $2,000 on a slot machine, they 1099 you because they can see the 2,000. Otherwise, there's no tax. There's no tax on gold just for holding it. If you sell it and you don't get 1099, there's no tax. So again, you're worried about taxes when there is no tax. And it's not a collectible, it's money. So you're not worried about it now. Later on, as it becomes money, but again, I'm not running in rebirth. If I don't get a 1099 or a W-2, that's it. Oh, I won $100 at bingo. Let me add that to my tax return. Come on, are you kidding me? So if you don't get 1099, you didn't sell it. That's it. It's the end of it. But you're not really trying to sell it. I'm not trying to sell my gold. Now, if I need to, I'm getting Social Security. If that ends because we go broke, then we'll all see what happens. But people who are having their 401ks as, I'll pay this when I retire, you're not going to be able to. That I guarantee you, that'll be worthless. Stock will crash, and it's in dollars, so it won't be worth anything. So which world do you want to live in? The paper world where it's zero. Oh, wait, it hasn't gone zero yet, so it won't? Is this what you're trying to tell me? It won't go to zero because it hasn't? Well, we were on the gold standard till 1971, and the value of our dollar since 1971 has gone to shit. Like I say, you watch Leave It to Beaver, and they went to the movies for a dime. Now it's what, $10? I don't know. I haven't been to a movie in a while. Everything has changed. The value of the dollar is worthless. Now, can you buy a car or a house with gold? Absolutely. You just have to find a seller who realizes he can't take cash, and then he'll realize that gold is money and gold's the only thing. Now, I'm not talking in today. I'm talking when the dollar collapses very soon, and the only thing with value is gold and silver, or a Mantle card, or a Brady card, or a Rolex. You can buy a house with any of those. We saw a movie where Ice Cube, or whatever the guy's name was, went and his tires got flat, and he had an Akeem Olajuwon rookie card, refractor, and he got 4 tires for the card. I can go to my restaurant, my barbecue, and give him an ounce of silver for my meal. So don't tell me nobody takes gold or silver. I come up with that. When the money collapses, they'll gladly take gold for the house, and you don't need a mortgage. You're going to use the gold to buy the house. How many times must I say that one? Right now they want money because they know money. But when money goes to zero, are they going to take money? Oh, and it won't happen? The dollar won't collapse? Really? That's a little naive. Under a $38 trillion debt, we've seen Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Germany all go broke. Don't act like that's never happened before. We saw the Roman Empire, the French, the English, the Spanish, and Amsterdam all go broke because they printed their dollar to death. This is not a guess, a hypothesis. This is facts. This is what happens. We are printing the dollar to death. We have a $38 trillion debt. We can't pay off. We pay it over $1 trillion in interest a year, which will be 2 or 3 trillion soon until the dollar collapses. I mean, I don't get what's so difficult to follow about this. Well, it hasn't done it before. All right, well, the Cubs hadn't won a World Series for 100 years, and they won one. And the Red Sox hadn't won since Babe Ruth, and they won one. So does that mean because things haven't happened, they won't happen? Variables change. This is the point of the exercise. The BRICS have now got gold-backed currency. They have 150,000 tons of gold out of the 200,000 that exist. Go to a coin store now, and if you're lucky, you can buy an ounce or two that he has, if you're lucky. And silver's going the same way. Silver's up big today, so is gold. So again, I'm wondering what isn't connecting. What part are you missing? You wanted to buy stocks, you wanted to buy whatever, you know, ETFs. I mean, hello, is anybody home? Because that is just silly. That makes no sense. You don't want to be in paper. You don't want to be in stocks. You don't want to be in ETFs, real estate trusts, bonds, or money. You don't want to be anything paper. It's all going to the bottom of the Atlantic. And I don't understand what's so hard about understanding that. It's all connected. Stock priced in dollars, real estate trust is priced in dollars. Did you ever think Vegas would go broke? Because it is. Well, that's never happened before. Did you ever think Caesar's Palace would go broke? Because I can show you a video showing that. It's broke. The Bellagio's broke. Oh, that's never happened before. When's that going to happen? That's the point. David, good morning. What's up? We're talking economics right now. Inflation. So because Caesar's Palace was there in 1965, and it's a beautiful hotel, and it's Caesar's, and it's, you know, well, it hadn't collapsed. Well, it has now. And they'll never pay the rent off the real estate trust because Caesar's Palace owes rent to, Apollo or Blackstone or Blacksmith or BlackRock. They're never going to get it. So if you had money there, you just lost it. If you got money in an ETF of gold, you're never getting gold out of it. The ETF will collapse. All the stocks are collapsing because they're in dollars, and all the people will pull their money out, and nobody's gonna put money into the stock market as it's collapsing. So I explain it as fifth grade as I can. I don't really get what the confusion is. You know, I don't get it. If you want to, then sell your gold and be in dollars and watch it go to zero. Is that better? I mean, that's just ridiculous thinking. Gold's going up. Gold's 41.70 now. So if you bought it and didn't sell it, as you should never have, if you bought it at 1,500, it's now you've recovered the money you lost on the dollar going down. So you hold dollars and watch it go to zero. You're going to pay $20 for Oreo cookies or whatever. You keep missing the point of the gold will buy the house. You never heard of it before. Yeah, go back to 1923 in Germany. But how many times have these currencies went out and the banking system went out? Well, it's about to happen. There's nothing they can do to stop it because the dollars they're holding are worthless. So at what point, would you rather be in that? Oh, says the dealer, oh, but I have to pay tax on it. You don't have to pay tax on it. You pay tax if you get 1099. But if you don't sell your gold, you don't pay tax on it. And again, if you want to buy a Rolex or a Mantle, you'll be using gold to do it. I'll take gold for my Mantle card. Most people would if they understand gold. So gold's 41.70. I got a Mantle card worth, I don't know, 80,000. So you give me 20 ounces, you give me 10 ounces of gold for the mantle card, I'll take it. There you go. Somebody will take gold for an asset. No problem. My Montana rookie card, my Rice rookie card, all the Clemente cards I have, all the Willie Mays cards, I'll take gold for it in a heartbeat. Exactly. I don't want dollars for it. If I took the dollar, it'd be going to the gold store to turn it into gold. But I do not want to be in dollars. What point of the concept are we missing that the dollar is worthless and you need to be in gold and silver as the lifeboat to protect you? And why in the world would you sell it? And you're missing buying an asset with the gold will be very easy. Once people realize the dollar is collapsed and worthless, which they're not smart, so they don't understand it. Once they start to understand it. So you see, right now, most people don't understand it. If you go to a financial planner, they're not going to help you. Oh, no, be in stocks, be in bonds. It's the 60-20-20 portfolio. My portfolio, 100% gold and silver. And then by the way, I have some cards. By the way, I don't pay tax on any of it because it's not income to me. Right? The mantle card, I'm not paying tax on that. I bought it. I haven't sold it. Gold, I bought. I didn't sell it. Why would I pay tax on it? This isn't Germany where you got to pay tax on your assets. And if I do sell one, I'll sell 1 ounce. I won't get 1099 because there's certain limitations on it. It's like 10,000, maybe 20,000. There's so many there. So if you don't get 1099, I'm not paying tax on it. So I don't understand what the concern is. It really makes no sense to me. If I'm telling you you could buy an asset with gold and silver, and I tell you I can go to the barbecue place with an ounce of silver and buy a dinner, you don't get that part. What don't you get about that? If you need to buy an asset, I'm sure there's people that will take gold and silver for the asset, not money. In fact, most people don't want money. And in fact, if you were in China, you could easily use gold, or probably Russia. Any of the BRICS countries, they're all trading in gold. They're all trading gold-backed currency. So you have option A. I stay in dollars. I stay in stocks and bonds. I stay in real estate trust. Watch them all go bankrupt, and I go to zero. So I take my $500,000, and now I'm worth zero. Or option B, I turn it into gold and silver like Rumpelstiltskin, and now I paid 500,000 is now worth $1 million because it's doubled from 2,000 to 4,000, and it's going to go up 10 times from here. And again, it's protection. Gold's protection. It's not an investment like a stock. It's not a stock. I don't understand why people think gold stock. Well, yeah, it was a pullback because it went up so high. There's no pullbacks. There's no profit taking. You don't profit take gold. You want to get back in the dollars? Good luck to you. But you don't profit take that. I would not sell an ounce of my gold to take profit because then I get back in dollars, and I don't want to be in dollars. The point of buying the gold was to get out of the dollars. The idiots in charge keep printing the money. Social Security, Medicare, the debt, the interest on the debt, the government employees that they need to pay and their pensions, and of course the defense contractors who are running the country into the ground. That's what you have. So you either can ignore that and say that's not real, or you can face up to the fact of what is really going on. If you don't realize the defense contractors are controlling the government and they're printing money that they don't have, that's worth zero, that's the first problem, right? If you don't realize that, you've got to open up and understand that's what's happening. And therefore, we have massive inflation, and that means the dollar's worthless. That's all it is. And you will be buying an asset with the gold and silver once the dollar's worthless. We don't know when that is, a year, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 6 months. I think sooner than later, within 6 months, I think. Nobody wants the dollar. There's no faith in the dollar. It's worthless. So what are they going to do? Well, we'll come out with stable coins. Oh, yeah, that'll really work. How can stable coins work? They're not real. As I said yesterday, you don't want anything digital. You don't want digital food. You don't want digital money. You don't want digital whiskey. So imagine this was digital. Well, you don't really get it. It's there. It's in your account. The whiskey. Well, I want to drink some. Well, you really can't drink it because it's digital. No, you get physical. How can this is at least real. It doesn't have a value, but digital, you don't have anything. This is the biggest Madoff Ponzi scheme I've ever seen is digital money. There's another woman who was arrested for money laundering her digital Bitcoin, whatever it is. I mean, are you not listening to what I'm teaching, or do you not trust what I'm teaching is real? If that's the case, then why do you come? I don't know. I'm not forcing anybody to be here, but I expect if I'm teaching that you listen and you learn. So I really get confused when people listen and they don't learn and they ask the same questions. I really, really don't get it. I mean, I can lead a horse to water. I can't make him drink. It's about what I'm seeing here. I can't buy an asset with gold. Why not? If I had a house worth 500,000 in gold, and now my house is worth zero because the dollar collapsed, somebody comes up to me with gold, which is now worth $100,000 or whatever. Well, at that point, I would I don't know what the fuck that was. Silver's just hit 53. Gold 41.80. Do we not want that to go up? So in the real world, we'll go back to medium of exchange, Say's law. You go to work, you get money, you get a medium of exchange, which is money, although now it's worthless. So we need something else, which we'll call gold. And you buy things with the money you got from work. And you want to buy an asset. You want to buy a mantle card. I'm going to use the gold to buy the mantle card because there's no more dollar to buy it with, or the dollar has no value. And the seller would prefer gold over that. And that's where we're headed. We might not be there today. We might be. As I said, I go to the barbecue place. I can give them my ounce of silver and I pay for my meal. He'll look and see $53 silver. My meal's $25 for ribs and chicken. And he'll give me back $25 in cash for the 1 ounce of silver. But I won't give him the 1 ounce of silver because it's only worth 53 instead of 550. So I don't know what's so hard about this whole explanation. That's what inflation is. That's what Say's law is. So the medium of exchange turns into gold and silver, which it used to be. We used to be on the gold standard. The BRICS are on the gold standard. Russia, China, India, Saudi Arabia. They trade. They can buy oil with gold. Saudi Arabia is now taking gold, selling, turns it into gold for their oil. You never heard of that before, did you? That's what's happening. So people want sound money. They don't want worthless crap. If you want to keep your stuff in worthless crap, then be my guest and watch it go to zero. You'll never buy an asset with the paper that you have. You will buy an asset with the gold you have. And I just don't get it. I read what you said, and I just don't get it. Am I talking Chinese or what? I don't. What is so hard to follow? You either stay in dollars that are worthless, that are being printed to nothing because they got to pay Medicare, Social Security, the interest on the debt, all the government employees, the defense contractors, or that has no money. They can't get treasuries, so they need money to spend, right? They don't have enough money to do all that, so they're taking money and they sell bonds, but nobody wants them. So we're buying our own bonds. Yeah, that's really healthy. I bet we've never done that before. There's a lot of stuff that changes. That's why I talk about variables. So your points make no sense. I don't quite follow what you're worried about. And it's really frustrating to read that stuff because you're clearly not listening and understanding to what I'm saying, which I don't. I talk in English at a fifth grade level, so I really don't know why that's so difficult to follow. But I've sold all my money for gold and silver. I'm out of stocks. I have nothing in the bank but a little Social Security that pops in that I pay rent with. And that's it. And when the dollar goes, how are you going to pay for rent? With gold and silver. Well, we've never done that before. Well, yeah, but the dollar is collapsed. They need a new dollar. And the only dollar that's going to work is a gold backed one. But we don't have any gold. So I think the problem is people listen to other people, their financial planner. There's a guy at the pool. We'll use this as an example. And he's diabetic. So I tell him how to get off of diabetes. Stop eating sugar and carbs, and you need to fast. What does he do? Doesn't listen to me. He's got this little plastic thing on his arm for insulin, which is terrible. That'll kill him. And so he says, then I see him, he's still wearing it. I said, I told you what to do. He says, well, I went to my doctor and he told me that I need to keep this on. I can't fast and this and that. So he's listening to his doctor over me, and it's not me. I'm getting it from Sven, our doctor, our holistic doctor, or our other woman doctor. That's what I'm getting from, not me. I'm not the doctor. I'm the messenger. But I get what's happening. We saved Pat's mother's life who had cancer by doing the same thing, getting her off of sugar and carbs, and she's fine now. She had cancer. So if you want to listen to other people, listen to them and you'll end up broke. That's your choice. I can only take you to the water. It's up to you to drink it. You either trust me or you don't. You want to trust Andy Scheckman or Peter Schiff or go trust them. They're wrong. I keep explaining that. I keep ripping them apart, but they're wrong. So I really don't, if you don't trust me, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm telling you the facts and the truth, and I'm honest, and I'm saying, and I'm telling you what to do. Hey, Atomic Rooster, how are you? Well, the point of never selling your gold is I don't want to be in money. Do you sell a mantle card? I mean, you're totally missing the point here. It's not, it's an asset. Do you sell a mantle card? Do you sell the Jordan rookie? Do you sell a Picasso? Well, why own it? You make a lot of money on it. Why own it? Why do you own anything? Again, you're missing all the points. I can't really have a normal conversation with you because you're not understanding. You're not going to sell your gold and worry about paying taxes. You might sell an ounce or two. You're going to use the gold to buy the house, to buy the asset, to buy the mantle card. What are you going to use when the dollar collapses? Oh, I'm sorry, it won't collapse because it hasn't collapsed, which is bullshit. It collapsed for the Romans, the French, the Spanish, the English, and the Amsterdam. Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Germany. Oh, wait, but the dollar hasn't collapsed. Oh, really? Okay. I mean, what do you want me to say here? You're just wrong on everything you're saying. You don't have to pay tax if you sell it, only if you get 1099. Otherwise, you don't. Do you go to the casino and win at poker and then pay tax on it? You're the only one in the world who would, because you don't pay tax on that. So you live in your world. I don't know what it is or where it is or why it is, but you're just wrong. Atomic, just popping in for the gold silver class. If you have any questions, ask away. Bad money drives out good. Exactly. Now, Atomic, Luke doesn't understand why you buy gold and silver. He'd rather be in dollars. So I'm teaching, no, you wouldn't, because the dollar has no value. You want to be in gold and silver because they can't print gold and silver. He's worried about taxes that I don't. How are you going to pay taxes? The dollar's gone to zero, which he's having a hard time understanding that concept. You can't keep printing the dollar, it goes to zero. What are you going to pay taxes with? The dollar that has no value? Because there won't be a dollar to pay taxes with. So again, you're not going to be paying. First of all, if I want to buy an asset, I'm using my gold. I don't have any a mortgage or a payment or anything. You will buy a whole asset with the ounce of gold. There won't be a mortgage. But there's failure to listen to that comment. If I go to the barbecue and I give them an ounce of silver, there's no payment. If gold hits 20,000 and I go to Toyota and I go, I want to buy a Camry, there's no payment. I'm paying the whole car off. Gold's going back to 4,200 and it's going to go to 10,000. And then it's really going to start moving. So an ounce of gold will buy you a house. There's no mortgage payment. Why do you keep thinking there'll be a mortgage payment? When the dollar goes and the gold goes up, and I own a house, and you come to me with an ounce of gold for my house, I take it. I say thank you, because I don't want dollars. They're not even existing. The dollar is worthless. They can't come out with another dollar not backed by anything. How can they? That's Zimbabwe. That's Nazi Germany. Hitler made some money that wasn't even real. And then what did he do? He stole all the gold. So Hitler's smart enough to be in gold. Nobody accepts gold for a house. Well, you don't know that. You're pretending. Have you asked people if they'll take gold for a house? No. You need a house now. Well, good luck, because the housing market's collapsing. So why would you buy a house now? I mean, I don't know what you're doing. So go buy a house, put your 10% down. So sell 2 ounces of gold, put 10% down, have a payment. When the money goes to zero, you won't owe anything on the house anyway. You keep thinking that the dollar will not fail. There's nothing they can do. It's failed. It's called bricks. It's called gold. That's the answer. That's the variable that changed. But you seem to not understand that or not accept that China's got 80,000 tons of gold. You don't accept that. I don't know why. Hmm. Let's see if we get 4183 gold. Are you happy or sad about that? So, what we have here is a student who doesn't, he sees the way it is today, but he can't go down the road. He can't think fifth dimensionally. And this is a problem because that's how I think. At 1700, I told you gold was going to, I don't know, 3, 4, 5,000. Here it is, 40, almost 4,200. I told you silver is going to 1,000. Oh, it'll never go over 50. Well, it's 53 right now. And it's going to 100 and it's going to 500 because it's been papered over with all the options. And I'm telling you, the options have ended. We are now in control by China and Russia controlling the price of gold, not COMEX, not the Madoff JP Morgan game where they fuck around shorting it in the middle of the biggest buying spree in gold and silver in the world in the history of life. These idiots are shorting it, trying to get the price down. So these banks are gone, right? They're done. You got your money in the bank, you'll never get it out. You got your money in the stocks, you'll never get it out. You don't own your stock and you don't own the money in the bank. You will never get it out. Well, it's my stock. It's not your stock. That's the point. You're getting so fucked with the stock market. It isn't yours to get out. It's JP fucking Morgan's. They're the mafia. They're the ones controlling everything. So you're going to say, hey, the shit hits the fan. Okay, I want to sell my stock. You're not getting the money. You go to get your money in the bank. You're not getting your money. So you can live in fantasy world where you think your money's safe. The only safe money is your money in gold and your safe, the physical gold, not the ETFs, not the stocks. You're worried about taxes that who's selling their gold to get taxes? You don't understand. I don't get how you don't understand it or what you don't understand about it. You own a Clemente card. Why do you own it? Oh, it went from $500 to 100,000 because it's a PSA 10. You gonna sell it? Hell no. Why would you? What's the point of holding it? Because you like Roberto Clemente or Mays or Brady, Jordan, Jim Brown, whoever. That's the point. You don't buy gold. Gold is not an investment. Gold's an asset. You're buying it to get out of dollars before the dollar collapses to zero. And yes, it's happening and it's going to happen very, very soon. No, I don't have a date. There's no date. Probably be towards the end of the year or early next year. I mean, it could happen tomorrow, but it's happening. for sure. Why do you think the government shut down? They can't afford to pay the employees. That's the real reason. How can they pay? My friend works for the DOD in Orlando, Florida. He hasn't worked in 2 months because won't, they don't have money to pay him. That's the truth, not this other bullshit. Atomic. U.S. government isn't changing their ways. I would much rather have hard assets, but that's been the case for 50 years. I was born in 1970. I was born in 1959. That whole time USD has gone to zero, essentially. Exactly. As soon as it wasn't backed by gold, it was. And as I say, so watching Leave It to Beaver, it's a dime to go to the movie, and Ward's telling Beaver, I want my money back. Give me the change. He gave him $1. He wanted that. He was like really assertive. I want the change. I want the quarter. That's when money had value. Now it's what, $10, $20 to go to a movie, if you even go to one, and all this bullshit with cable and all this bullshit with these streaming services. Who the fuck's going to get the NFL network or the Disney network? Fuck that. I'm not paying for that. Why would you pay for it? It's all bullshit. I get Pluto and I get Tubi for free on my thing. I got my antenna. I can watch all the football games except for the stupid NFL network. I'm fine. What do I need to pay that? My money has to go to food now because I don't have it. But the gold keeps going up because the dollar has no value. So yes, Atomic, you're totally right. Or should I call you a rooster? I don't know. I'll figure that out. But that's the point. It has no value. You won't be able to get it out of the bank, and you won't be able to get out of the stocks, and they get you with taxes and everything else. They don't tax your gold. You sit there, you have 100 ounces of gold in your house, and you're safe, or in a safe place, not a safety deposit box at the bank. So let's say you have 100 ounces. You don't pay tax on it. There's no interest income on it. There's no dividend on it because there is no dividend in gold. Warren Buffett has told us that. But you know what? It's gone from 1,500 to 4,000, 4,100, going to 4,500. We don't pay a nickel in tax on that. When we sell, if you get 1099, you pay a capital gains tax. If you don't pay anything in tax. Don't be all righteous and virtuous here. This isn't the place to be that. This is real. If I don't get a 1099, I ain't paying tax. I go to Caesars to play poker when it was open. I don't pay tax when I win. I don't pay tax if I win at craps or blackjack. The only time I pay tax is if I win a slot machine, which I never play. So don't tell me that you pay tax on every dime you make. That's bullshit. Doesn't happen. So not quite sure what that concerns about. But first of all, I would never sell my 100 ounces of gold. That'll go to my kids, Daria, whatever. That's exactly where that's going. And then you use an ounce here and an ounce there. You can retire on it. The retirement plans are, we're going to put you in stocks, but we're going to put you in like Coca-Cola where you get a good dividend, and then we're going to put you in Amazon where you get growth. But they don't understand that the market's crashing. Well, the market crashed before and it's always come back. It sounds like Luke here. No, that's bullshit. It's not coming back. Ask Japan when their market crashed in '89 if it came back. I don't think it's come back yet. China, their market crashed. Russia probably doesn't even have a stock market. Don't tell me that when the stock market goes from 46,000 to 5,000 that it's going to come back. You'll be waiting 100 years for that. It's not going to happen. No way. So what you have is you're listening to the wrong people, or you trust them. Why? You don't know what you're listening to. Oh, I'm going to trust Peter Schiff. What are you, out of your mind? Oh, Andy Schectman. You out of your mind? Oh, I have a financial planner. He won't give me in gold because he doesn't make commission on it. But I'm going to trust him because, as we saw in Attack on Wall Street, the guy put him in a real estate trust in the middle of the market crashing, and he cost him $60,000. And then they deleted his whole portfolio because he was in a real estate trust, and they deleted it. So they didn't lose on it. I mean, yeah, keep trusting those people. I have no skin in the game with you guys. You don't pay me a nickel. I don't ask for a nickel. I don't want any money. I get you out of trouble. I'm your get out of jail free card. I'm your Rumpelstiltskin. I get you out of dollars into gold and silver. That's the only place to be. Yeah, you can buy your Rolex and your mantle, but at the end of the day, you can't really use them. You can buy a house with a gold and silver or a car. Harder to buy it with a mantle card. Yeah, maybe doable depending on the dealership, but it'd be easier with gold and silver. And I assume what'll happen is your credit card will switch from monopoly money to the money backed by gold and silver, which will probably be read in Chinese or Russian. And that'll go to your credit card, and you'll go to the Kroger's with your credit card that's backed by gold. That's I assume will happen. All the prices at the grocery store will change into gold and silver prices. So a tenth of an ounce of silver buys you milk and eggs, not $5 of paper monopoly money. The house will go to zero. The dollar will crash. The house will go to zero. So you own this $500,000 house. It's now worth zero. What do? And I knock on your door and I say, here, I have gold. Can I buy your house with gold? He can't eat because his money's worthless. This is what's coming. Open your eyes. This is what's coming. This is what happened in Germany and France and England and Rome. By the way, yes, in the Roman Empire. This is what happened. Wake up. So if you want to get rid of your gold and go back in dollars, because you're not opening up to realize that you will buy your asset with gold or silver, then do it. But it's a huge mistake. You'll never be able to get back into the gold and silver, and it's moving up. You're not happy it's 4,200 now? Well, if you're not happy, all right, let's say you bought, $500,000 in gold, all right? When it was $2,000 an ounce. So if you kept the 500,000, it would be worth now maybe 2,000. Let's call it 5,000. Your 500,000 is now worth 5,000. Oh wait, I had it in stocks. Okay, then it's worth maybe 300,000 as before it crashes. But I'm not smart enough to know when it's going to crash because the stock market's never crashed, so it won't. Or, oh, wait, it did in 1929. Oh, wait, it did in 1987. Oh, wait, it did in 2000. Oh, wait, it did in 2008. So I guess it never crashes. And you have it. You're not getting it. If you held on to your dollar and you just put it in the bank, 500,000 in the bank is worth 5,000. Ask Bobby, he gets $1 million and it's worth maybe 10,000. It's not worth $1 million, that's for sure. So he has no value. You keep your money in money and it's worthless. Or you could have bought gold, which is what you did. And the gold went from 2,000 to 4,000. You've doubled your money. You turned 500K into $1 million. What's the problem? Well, I got to buy a house with it. No, you don't listen. You're going to buy a house with gold. Because when the dollar collapses and the gold goes to the moon, and because COMEX is gone, they don't have physical. And then the house values go to zero because they're in dollars, which has no value. So a $500,000 house, I can't sell this $500,000 house. Look at all the trouble with the housing market. Look at the trouble with the car market. There's 1 million cars lined up. I show you those videos where nobody's buying them. So are they really worth what they're selling for? No, not if there's no buyer. If I don't have a buyer for this is worthless. I only have value if somebody's willing to buy it. So, somebody will pay me 100. That's what it's worth. If nobody wants this has no value. It's worth zero. There's 1 million cars sitting in lots that nobody wants. Their value, zero. There's houses on the market that can't be sold. Are they really worth 500,000? No. They can't sell them. All you got to do is find somebody willing to take gold for their house, but you don't want to do it yet. Okay, I got to move out. Well, go move into an apartment. Go move to Russia. I don't know what to tell you. Just get an apartment and just wait for the housing market to crash. That's what I've been doing. When it crashes, I'll pull out 2 ounces of gold and go buy a house, probably in Russia or Germany or somewhere. I don't want to live here. This will be lawless and everybody will be famine. I keep listening to these new nursery rhymes, and there was one. No, it was Sleeping Beauty or one of those, and there's all this famine like in the 1700s in Europe, and it's like everybody's starving, and um, I don't know. It was crazy times, but there was a lot of famine 16, 1700. And I'm like, well, it's going to hit here very soon. So you want to live here? Good luck. Um, not going to be pretty here because nobody's going to have money. And they can, if they print USD number 2 and they don't back it by gold, it's worth the same toilet paper this is. So you don't really want it. So I don't know how to make it any easier. I can only take the horse to water. He's got to drink. And if he doesn't want to drink, I can't do anything more. This is what's happening. You can tell me it's not happening. You can tell me you've never seen it. You can tell me anything you want. I'm telling you what's going to happen. I'm very good at that. I told you gold was going to go to 3,000. It did. It was going to go to 4. It did. It's going to go to 5. It will. It's on its way. Because nobody wants dollars because you've printed it to death. That is such an easy concept that I can't understand you struggling with it. You bought gold because of the inflation. You're worried about tax. I wouldn't worry about it. I would never take and sell it all. Again, you just got to buy the house with the gold. It's not hard to figure that out. We aren't there yet because people aren't there yet. People see gold at 4,000. They see their house at 500,000. Wait till the house goes to 0 when the dollar collapses. And then you walk in with your gold and you say, here it is. Well, that'll never happen. Bullshit, it'll never happen. It's happening now. It's just a matter of time till the people wake up and go, oh shit, my house isn't worth anything. The dollar has collapsed. That's coming. Trump can only do so much, but you know who's running the country? George Soros. You know what George Soros has? He shorted the dollar like he shorted the British pound in 1991, and he made $1 billion shorting it. He's doing the same thing here. It's quite obvious. He's shorting the US dollar, hoping it goes to 0. And then he's got Scott Simpson, the Treasury Secretary, making sure it happens. He works for Soros. Why would Trump put a Soros guy in charge of the Treasury? Is beyond me. But if you think that our dollar is got value, I got some oceanfront property here in Detroit. I don't know what ocean, but it doesn't matter. You'll believe it if you believe that the dollar's strong. It's worthless. It's all I can tell you. You cannot print it and print it and print it. And then when you try to do treasuries and nobody buys your treasuries, so you buy your own treasuries, that's it. You're done. Oh, now the debt's 38 trillion. Well, you got to pay interest. Where are you going to get that money? So if you saw how in the world, in whatever world you're in, can you have 38 trillion in debt and you're printing money faster than you can? You have all these expenses, way more than your revenues, but the dollar's fine. In what world is that? Because I don't want to go to that world. I want to live in reality. So I don't know. I don't know how to say it to you. I don't know how to get through. There's nobody home. I mean, I can't make you drink the water because you don't want to drink the water. You still think there's gold in Fort Knox. I mean, I can't, you're listening to who? Ben Bernanke or one of these idiots on Andy Schectman. I mean, who you're listening to, but then you believe them. Well, then ask them what to do. Go on their podcast and listen and get ideas. Just don't bring them here because I don't want them because they're wrong. They don't even know what inflation is. Oh, it's 2%, it's 3%. Bullshit. Inflation's thousands of a percent. $35 gold to 4,100, almost, let's say 4,200. That's your inflation. Because you go back to 1971, you don't go year over year and look at the price of Coke on the shelf going, well, it's only gone up 2%. So that's inflation because we found one product that they'd already marked up and it's year over year. No, that's not how you measure inflation. It's money printing and you printed it and you have no value in your money. So you either hold on to valueless toilet paper or you buy real assets, gold and silver. It's as simple as that. I really don't know how else to explain it to you. I don't understand your questions. Your questions make no sense to me. Your concerns make no sense to me. Your comments make no sense to me. It's like you don't listen. You're not hearing what I'm saying, or you don't believe what I'm saying. I don't know. I tell you to bet Ohio State under and it wins. Do you not pick up on that? I know how to pick, but it's the same thing for economics. The dollar's gone. It's got no value. You get out of the dollar, the Titanic sinking, you get into the lifeboat, gold and silver. It's as simple as that. I can't explain it any easier to you. I don't know anybody else that has your concerns and your questions. I've not gotten any from anybody else who doesn't understand what inflation is now, and you'll be able to use gold and silver as assets. You don't want to sell them and profit take. It's just base. You can't print gold and silver, and the value keeps going up and up and up. Do you ask yourself why? Why is it 4,100? Why is it going to 5,000? Professor says it's going to 10,000. Do you question me? No, you understand that that's what's happening when the money goes to zero because you can't print the gold and silver. So you want to be in gold and silver and watch the value go up, but you don't pay taxes on it. What are you talking about? It's just an asset. Do you pay taxes on a Mantle card or a Clementi card or Sandy Koufax or a Picasso or a Van Gogh? Do you pay tax on that? No, it's an asset. You don't pay tax on your assets. If you sell them and you get 1099, you do. If you go to an auction and you sell your Van Gogh, I sell it for $1 million, then I'm going to get a 1099. I'm going to pay tax on it. Understood. But if I sell my gold, if I buy a house with gold, I'm not going to pay tax on it because now I own the house. Now I'll have to pay property taxes on my house unless I find a country there's no property taxes in. But that's as far as it goes. So I don't know how else to help you, but you're missing several points here. You need a house, go buy a house, or you know what, you live in an apartment. But if you have money, if you kept the money in money, you wouldn't be able to afford an apartment. You wouldn't be able to feed your kids. Because soon the money won't be worth anything. You go to the grocery store and it'll take you a lot of money to buy groceries. Your concern is going to be feeding the kids, not buying a house. So I don't really know. You're pressed to buy a house, go buy an apartment. Go buy a townhouse, rent a condo. I'm in an apartment. I'm fine. I don't need a house. It's not a big deal to me. I've been in a house. I've owned a $500,000 house. Not a big deal. As long as I have a place to sleep and eat, do my class, study my football, I'm fine. Now, if I get, married to Daria or Jenna, then we'll probably buy a house. But otherwise, But if I hold my money in dollars, I know I'm broke. I know they're worth nothing. All right. If I had 100 grand in the bank, I know it's worthless. Right. Oh, I can get a mortgage. Your mortgage, you think in 30 years you'll be paying off your mortgage? Are you kidding me? You got maybe a year before the dollar's worthless. And again, just use gold to buy the house. I don't want to hear nobody did. Yeah, they did in Germany. They probably are doing it in Zimbabwe. I'm sure they probably did it in England and France when their dollars went out. Spain, Rome had gold, so I'm sure they bought houses with gold. Um, the real sad thing is Caesar's Palace and Bellagio are bankrupt and they're going out. Yeah, if we have no customers, so if we're running a store, if we're running a ice cream store, yeah, pretty much. Um, if we're running a store and we have no customers, we're probably going to go out of business. So only the execs in Vegas can think that. Yeah, we won't have any. Just the whales will come. What kind of excuse is that? I still think that whole thing is the Chinese. They're bankrupting Vegas so they can come in with an ounce of gold and buy Caesars and Bellagio and all that. You watch. The Chinese will own that Vegas Strip, and they'll get it for pennies on the dollar. They're the ones behind this bankrupt. Nobody else is this stupid. How can a guy be a CEO and a CFO and say, yeah, it's best if we don't have any, we'll get rid of the riffraff? Are you fucking kidding me? What business model says you don't want customers? And we're running a car dealership, but we don't want customers. We only want whales to come in. It's called Ferrari. They have customers. Yes, the regular guy doesn't go to a Ferrari dealership, but the rich people go there. They go to Mercedes, whatever. But they don't confuse you into a Toyota dealership and we only want the whales to come in and we're going to sell a $200,000 Toyota. No, but that's what Caesar, well, we just want the whale. That's bullshit. So they laid off all their staff and they have AI, which nobody wants. Oh, play on your home. No, I'm not playing casino games at home. Sorry, I'm going to go into the casino. I enjoy the environment and the people and the colors and the numbers and everything else. I don't want to sit at home and play video blackjack. What kind of crap is that? All right. What is today? Wednesday? I lose track of days. Today's Wednesday. It's 11:30. Silver $53. Gold $41.84. So I like gold. It's nice and healthy after 10 o'clock. It just keeps going. Look at silver 53.11. Good boy. That's what we want to see. So what's wrong with it going up? We have one person who doesn't understand gold and silver going up who would rather be in money. I don't understand it. Okay, let's go to football. Let's talk a real subject. So I'm looking at this game, Notre Dame Pitt, and I'm breaking it down, and I noticed Pitt's got a new quarterback, and he seems pretty good. So we will see. Notre Dame is not at home. Alex thinks that if you have better players, you automatically win, which is bullshit. Notre Dame 11.5. I don't trust him here. But anyway, let's go to the line. And let's try to get it. All right. So tonight, we've got two MAC games. So yesterday, the MAC game, Kent, the Z team beat Akron, the W team 42-35. A 77, the total was 46. I guess Vegas missed that total. Western Michigan 17, Ohio 13, 47.5. My friend's telling me this thing, but he couldn't explain it, which makes me question it. Says, well, if the home team is favored and then goes underdog, you bet on them because it wins. Well, why? Well, I don't know. It just does. I don't do those kind of bets. If you can't explain the bet, I don't do it. Okay. Northern Illinois, 11.5, 43.5 tonight. Northern Illinois and under. UMass, the worst team in college football. Toledo, 4.5, 45.5. Up from 3.5. The money's going on Toledo. Be careful. Miami of Ohio is pretty good. 45.5. Toledo an A team, Miami an E team. And Buffalo Central 2.5, 44.5. At home against the Buffalo Bills. Jim Kelly's running this team. Buffalo an under team with a 20 defense, Central an even team with 24. They're at home. It's a fucking Wednesday night. I don't know what they're doing. All right. Tomorrow there's one game, Troy and Old Dominion. Old Dominion 11.5 and 53.5. And Troy's an E team, Old Dominion's a B team, but they've been playing good and bad. And I was going to bet them and I didn't. And then I bet them once and they didn't. They got killed. So we don't give a fuck about Old D. Friday, Clemson, Louisville 3 and 49.5, down from 51.5 for some reason. Kubiak stinks, the Clemson quarterback. Louisville, I don't like Miller Moss. It's kind of a dead game. I don't know. Clemson stinks this year. Minnesota goes to Oregon Friday night. Oregon 25.5, 44.5. Minnesota's an under team with a 21 defense, and Oregon's an A team with a 13 defense. As we saw, they played Iowa really close. Their loss was to Indiana, as they're 8-1 at home. They have to win for the playoff and everything else. I'm looking at Oregon. Oregon, I don't love their quarterback. They have a decent defense. Minnesota's got a very good defense. I don't know. Oregon at home is much better than Oregon on the road, although they did lose to Indiana at home. I'm not going to go through every game. Notre Dame at Pitt. Notre Dame 12.5, 55.5, up from 11.5. Pitt, like I said, has a pretty good quarterback. They're both A teams with 20 defenses. But Pitt is 7-2 also. They're a pretty good team. Wisconsin goes to Indiana. Indiana 29.5, 44.5. Indiana, really good defense. Really fucked up against Penn State last week and should have lost. They're undefeated, but they're not the number 2 team. Texas Tech's number 2. I'd say Utah's in the top 5, and I'd say Texas A&M with their quarterback should be there. I can't buy Notre Dame. They played 2 good teams and they lost to both of them, and then they're playing a bunch of nobodies except for USC. I'll give them that one. So I'm not buying Indiana. They're too conservative. Even though they score 50 points, it's a lot of just running the ball, and then eventually they break the run and they score, and then they get some pick sixes or the defense, but too boring, and they're not clever enough to be number 1. If they played Ohio State, I'd be all over Ohio State. I'd be all over Texas Tech against Indiana or Texas A&M. I don't think they could handle any of those. Alabama would beat them. So I don't like their. It's too much running. It's too boring, and they kick too many field goals against the Penn State. What are they going to do against Ohio State? Texas Tech, they ain't going to do anything against. So Wisconsin's terrible. They did get the win last week. They beat Washington, so they're all happy. They're an under. They have no offense, a 22 defense. Indy, I don't know. They're at home. Maybe they smoke them. Over under 44.5. You're not going to get points from Wisconsin in this game, so it's a toughie. Michigan goes to the Cubs and plays Northwestern at the Cub Field, Wrigley. Michigan 11.5, 41.5. Michigan a B team with a 17 defense. Northwestern under with a 19. Probably a low scoring game, but the total's 41.5, so that's pretty low. Don't know. South Florida, the Navy. South Florida 10.5, 64.5. That hasn't moved. Both are over teams. South Florida, a really good quarterback. They score a ton. 24 defense. Navy. Now, Navy fucked everybody last week. The quarterback an hour before the game says, I'm not playing. Not good. Is he injured? You're not talking to us about. You're supposed to. So you fucked a lot of people, and then the spread did go from 25 to 29, and then they win 49 to 10 or whatever. Uh, Very bad by the Navy to not announce the injury. And then an hour before, he's not playing. Meanwhile, the line moves, so people betting knew that the line was going to go. Anyway, not very good. So we'll see, but I think South Florida gets them here. Arizona, Cincinnati. Cincinnati's 6.5, 56.5. Both A teams, both 20 defenses. South Carolina goes to A&M. A&M's actually 3. Where's Texas Tech? A&M is 20, 48.5. South Carolina an under team, 22 defense. A&M over team with the 22 defense because A&M scores 40 and South Carolina scores 20. That's why they're different grades. I don't know. I like A&M here, 19.5. Have I given you a free pick? No, I haven't. Well, I got a real good one I think I'll give you. Arkansas goes to LSU. LSU 5.5, 56.5. Arkansas, an over team, scores a lot but has no defense. LSU, an under team, doesn't score. Now they switch quarterbacks on Alabama to a running quarterback. He couldn't throw. He fumbled twice because he's not used to being pressured because he's just used to running, and it was just the problem with the running quarterbacks. It is at LSU. I don't know. I think Arkansas they'll hang in there. I think. West Virginia goes to Arizona State. Arizona State 11.5, 48.5. I don't know. Is their quarterback back? I thought he was out for the year. West Virginia is playing a little bit better. They're a W team with a 30 defense. Arizona State, an even team with a 23. However, if Levitt's playing, it's one thing. If he's not, I'm not laying 11.5. North Texas against UAB. North Texas over team. They're both over teams. North Texas 24 defense. UAB 37. North Texas scores a ton. They're laying 18.5, 69.5. The over is probably a little too much. UAB, there's games they don't score. Look for North Texas big here. Here's your free pick. Marshall, Georgia State. Marshall, an over team, 33 defense. Georgia State's a Z team with a 40. Marshall scores. Wait, do I want to give Marshall? Is this our free play? Let me just verify something. We know Georgia State sucks. Yeah, this is your free play. So your free play is take Marshall minus 7. So you're going to cut it to 1. Seven down to 1. Take Marshall. You're betting against the Z team with the team that's pretty good, Marshall. They've been scoring. Georgia State's pretty bad. I don't know that there's a risk that the game's at Georgia State. I mean, they haven't won a game in a long time. If I look at their schedule, they've lost the last 5. Pretty decent Sun Belt teams. Let's see if they've won anything. They're 1-8. Mississippi beat them 67. Memphis killed them. They beat Murray State, so they beat a Division II team. Vandy beat them 70-21. They lost to James Madison, App State, Georgia Southern, South Alabama, and Coastal Carolina, our big game last week. That was a free play and a lock, Coastal Carolina, in 2 teasers. So we're going Marshall. They lost to James Madison, but James Madison's an A team, 35-23, and my Coastal Carolina. So go Marshall. Beat Georgia State. Anybody can give you Ohio State under every week, but that gets boring. Right. The fuck? My phone keeps freezing up. Come on. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm not going through every game. UCF goes to Texas Tech. Texas Tech's rated 6. So you've got Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and then Alabama and Georgia are 4-5, and then here comes Texas Tech 6. It should be Ohio State 1, Texas Tech 2. Texas Tech's much better. So as long as they're 6, they're still pissed. We got 24-47.5. Texas Tech a 12 defense, UCF a 20. Texas Tech looked great beating BYU last week. Look for more of the same here. Kick ass. Oklahoma and Alabama. Alabama 645.5. Oklahoma is not that good. They gave up a lot of points. They gave up 23 to Texas. They gave up some like 38 to Ole Miss and 30 something to Tennessee. So I don't see this 14 defense, more like a 24 defense. Alabama can certainly throw the ball. Had a big game with LSU last week. It's at Alabama. It's revenge. Now, there was a thing of sign stealings like Michigan, and the old Miss coach who used to coach at Alabama as their offensive coordinator says, look out, they look for signs. Now, they're trying to say they're legal, which I don't know how they're legal. He says, I keep seeing the safety come up on the slant patterns, and the safety normally doesn't do that, so he must know the plays. So he warned Alabama to not to worry about sign stealings from Oklahoma. So they're going to change all their signs. So again, Alabama at home in a revenge game, and Oklahoma's defense is not all that. So roll tide, I think. Iowa at USC 6.5, 49.5. Iowa played a very good game against Oregon last week, lost 18-16. Good defense, but that's at home. USC is a whole different cat on the road, at home versus on the road. They played Notre Dame, who has a similar Notre Dame's defense is a 19 because they played A&M. Iowa's is a 13. Good defense, but USC is a 21 defense. But I'm sure USC will figure out a way with the passing game to get that working. So because it's at USC and Iowa gets to travel to the West Coast, I think that's the difference. If the game was in Iowa, I wouldn't touch it. But USC did go to Illinois, and it was a 9:00 game. This game's 3:30, so it's 12:30 for USC. So they can't get away from these early games. But I think Iowa shot their load last week against Oregon and losing it on the last play of the game. They're not a team that plays well on the road as they do at home. San Jose State, Nevada. San Jose State 8.5, 52.5. San Jose State, we played. Air Force just ran on them, and they didn't get possessions. They've been scoring like 35, 40 points a game. Here they get a Z team in Nevada. They both have 30 defenses, but Nevada's offense is terrible. Their quarterback stinks. They don't even get 300 yards of offense. They're 1-8, but San Jose State's misleading because they're starting to score the last few games, and they're really good offense. So, it's like Coastal Carolina. They're a lot better than they look. Penn State, Michigan State. Penn State 7.5, 49.5. Penn State an E team 22. Michigan State an over with the 31. Penn State's lost 6 in a row. You know, their quarterback looked okay. Michigan State has no defense. Their defense held Indiana. I thought Indiana's play calling was terrible last week. And the game's at Michigan State. You might get points in this game. I'm not sure. Because Penn State might even win because Michigan State's defense is a 31. North Carolina State, Miami 14.5, 55.5. North Carolina State's an over team with the 30 defense who can score. Miami an 18 with the 15. They've lost to Louisville and they lost to SMU. They're not all that. They never are. 15 defense. I don't know if I buy it. I got to look into it. Well, let's look into that now. As long as we're here, as long as we're visiting, let's go in. So let's look at the last 5. NC State beat Georgia Tech 48-36, and Georgia Tech is a 23 defense. They lost to Pitt pretty big, 53-34. Notre Dame 36-7. They beat Campbell and they lost to Virginia Tech. So NC State doesn't show me anything. A little bit of points against Pitt and Georgia Tech. Maybe something's changed. But they lost to Notre Dame 36-7. Miami, on the other hand, do they really have a 15 defense? I don't think so. They gave up 22 to Florida State, 24 to Louisville, 26 to SMU. Now, 10 to Syracuse. Syracuse quarterback's out, and 7 to Stanford, who isn't very good. So the games they lost, they gave up 24, 26, NC State, and 22 to Florida State. NC State, I think Miami at home gets 50. Well, it's not a 15 defense. It's about that with the 10 at Syracuse, 25, 50, 75, 92. It's about a 20 defense. NC State with the over. So, games in Miami, they've lost 2. They have to win. Are they rated? Miami's number 15. So they probably need it for the playoff. They can't afford to lose. Maybe Miami. I don't know. Their coach sucks. My Georgia Tech, Haynes King, 8-1 against BC, 1-9, 16.5, 58.5. Georgia Tech, a B team, 23 defense. I read you the loss to NC State. BC, a W team with a 34 defense. Look for Georgia Tech to bounce back. Did they lose last week? Or was it 2 weeks ago? Well, why don't I just go in? No, not my football. Georgia Tech. Yeah, they lost to NC State last game. Otherwise, they beat Wake and Virginia Tech aren't good. Duke, pretty explosive. Syracuse stinks. NC State. BC's defense really sucks. It's funny how they lost to Notre Dame 25-10, but they lost to Louisville, Connecticut, Clemson, and SMU, giving up over 38 points. But 25-10 against Notre Dame, really? Hard to believe. So Georgia Tech 16.5, coming off of a loss. BC with this terrible defense. All right, Virginia goes to Duke. We're checking on Virginia's quarterback, Morris. Great quarterback from North Texas. And one of the reasons they're 8-2, Duke's 5.5, 58.5, kind of says to me he's not playing. And if he doesn't play, who's their backup? But we'll see. So if we got him, then it's a different play. Texas State goes to my Southern Miss. Southern Miss is 4.5, 65.5. This was 6.5. Texas State, the over team, 34 defense. Southern Miss, a B with a 24. Should be points here. Texas State really hard to handle. Maryland goes to Illinois. Illinois 14.5, 53.5. Maryland an E team, 23 defense. Illinois an over team. Good quarterback, Altmaier, 25 defense. They did beat USC at home, 53 total. Memphis, East Carolina. This is a real good team. Both are A teams. East Carolina 2.5, 59.5 because they are at home. They're both A's. Memphis 21 defense, East Car 17, but we have to check that out and see if that's real or not. And let's get down. Utah, Baylor. Utah 8.5, 60.5. Utah an A team with 14 defense. Baylor an over team with the 29 defense. Let's see. I mean, Utah with the strong defense, strong offense. They're just a strong team. Utah's 13 in the country. Should be like 5 or 6. I mean, they played BYU. Somebody's going to lose. And they played Texas Tech. Somebody's going to lose. And they kill everybody else. Baylor, great offense. We'll have to see about where to go with that. Florida goes to Ole Miss. Ole Miss 15.5, 53.5. Florida, they fired their coach, I believe. Everybody in the SEC is firing their coach. Florida, an under team, 22 defense. Ole Miss, an A team with the 19 defense. Utah State and Vegas. This is an over team, but the total 71. Vegas is 671.5. This line went from 4.5 to 6. Utah State and over 29 defense. Vegas and over 31. And we get to Texas, Georgia. Georgia's 648.5. Texas, a B team with a 16 defense, which I don't believe. Georgia, an A team with a 19. Now, both teams played like Ole Miss and Tennessee, and they were high-scoring games. I don't buy Georgia's defense as a 19, and I think in conference it isn't. In Texas, there's no way it's a 16 defense. So I'm not buying that Texas is this great defensive team. They started the season, maybe they got injuries, but Georgia -6 at home. They'll find a way to win, I think, because that's what Georgia does. Even though they're not as strong, they don't really have the running back, or maybe they got a new one. I don't know. They're not really getting the running back, and their defense isn't as strong as you get spoiled when it gives up 7 a game. You get spoiled with it. Texas is the A team. Do we not have Ohio State this week? Who am I going to bet under with without Ohio State? Oh, wait, no, we got them. Their next game. Georgia 6, 47.5. Should be a very good game. It's the 7:30 game. And you got UCLA at Ohio State. Ohio State 31.5, 48.5. UCLA an over team with the 30 defense. Ohio State an A team with a 7 defense. UCLA is getting better with the new offensive coordinator, but they got killed by Indiana. Last week, they struggled against Nebraska, losing 28-21. Certainly, they don't have the defense. Their offense is a little better, but I don't think here their offense is better. If the game was at UCLA, maybe, but at Ohio State, 48.5. Yeah, that's a night game. Good luck there, fellas. Mississippi State, Missouri. Missouri 751.5. I think Shapen will play, but if he does, then I like Mississippi State. Missouri's got their backup quarterback in, so I don't know why they're favored by 7 unless Shapen's out also. And let's see, TCU, BYU. We got BYU 4.5, 51.5. BYU, outstanding team, strong 18 defense, TCU at 24. They lost last week to Iowa State, TCU at home, so I don't think they're that good. BYU, the A team, 18. So I don't know. I think BYU just is a better team all around over TCU. And our last game, Boise, San Diego State. San Diego State is 341.5. They're an A team. Boise, a B team. They lost to Fresno State. They got killed by Notre Dame. They lost to South Florida. So this is not a vintage Boise team. San Diego State, however, lost to Hawaii last week. So, there's too much monkey business going on. People keep thinking these games are all fixed. So I commented yesterday about thinking that why did the Indy coach, who only needed a field goal to win the game, score a touchdown? And I say, and so somebody said, well, the game was fixed. And maybe it was the kicker not getting enough points, or they didn't want the kicker to kick a field goal because there's a bet on the kicker kicking field goals. Okay, this is ridiculous now. We don't care. It's too much. I mean, it's bullshit. The coach is going to lose his job. Is it worth losing your job? Did the coach bet on the kicker and ran the ball? It made no sense. But if you're going to fix a game, you don't fix it in overtime at the last second. What if Atlanta would have kicked a field goal? You're going to score a touchdown, makes sense. But if all you need is a field goal to win the game, you want me to believe? I don't know what to buy. I believe the coach is an idiot. I mean, that's pure and simple. I don't buy the coach being a sound coach to not kick the field goal to win the game, but hand the ball off. What if he fumbled? Which is far more probably than him missing the field goal from the 8-yard line. So again, I understand the fixing. I understand everything. Okay. So I hate when people say, well, you don't understand. They fixed the game. Yeah, I understand exactly. However, that's why I bet teasers, because I understand they fixed the game. And if it's an 8-point favorite, they go, well, you can win, but you can't win by 8. But they don't say you can't win by the teaser. They don't say you can win, but you can't win by 2. That's why we bet teasers, to avoid the fixings. Now it's a little bit different with the go for 4th downs and the player props. That's to get more gambling in because they want to make more money on the stop. FanDuel and money, MGM, they want to make their money on the football betting. I don't know. I don't get it. We'll have player props. Who's stupid enough to bet player props? Yet I hear it all the time. People are just suckers, right? Sucker born every minute. Anyway, yes, I understand. Now, is the Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State going to be fixed? Could be. Probably not. You have more of a chance that Oklahoma, Alabama's fixed than South Alabama, Lou Monroe. But we'll see. Notre Dame was clearly fixed when they played Boston College and won 25-10. And they're laying 29, and Boston College has given up 40 points to everybody else. Yeah, I'd question that. But we know Notre Dame is too honest. All right. I'll talk pros tomorrow. I have updated my thing, so I'm not going to go through. I'm just going to. The Jets are a W team. New England. This is yesterday's. New England 11.5, 43.5. New England a B team. The Jets a W team. Miami, Washington, they're both W teams with 28 defenses. The game's in London or somewhere in Europe. Miami 2.5, 47.5. Again, we want player safety. Yeah, let's travel to Europe. That's 7-hour flight. What's the problem there? And a time change. San Diego, 3:44 to Jacksonville. They're both even. Again, San Diego has to go to the East Coast. Cincinnati and Pitt. Pitt 5.5, 49.5. Cincinnati an over team with the 33. Pitt an E team with the 24. Should be Pitt should play better than that because Cincinnati's got a 33 defense. That's the key to it. If you're playing like the Lions, they beat Washington with a 27 defense. Well, not they're not going to score 40 points on Philadelphia. I guarantee it. Green Bay 7.5, 44.5 have lost 2 games in a row. Play the Giants. Giants are a W with the 27. It might be Russell Wilson if now that whatchamacallit, whatever his name is, what's his name? Dart. Dart is in concussion protocol, so he might not be ready. Oh, he's a running quarterback, but he didn't. He got concussed anyway. This is the problem with running quarterbacks. You get him hurt. What do they got lucky. They got Russell Wilson. Actually, Russell Wilson makes it a much better game than Dart because he's actually a good quarterback. Love looks like crap most of the time. Chicago mini 348.5. Chicago an over team with a 27 defense. They're running all these gadget little bullshit plays that he ran at Detroit. Minnesota an even team with a 24 defense, but their defense is coming on. They got Van Ginkel back. They got Harrison Smith back. They look like a real defense. Problem is JJ McCarthy. Let's run around the Magpole or whatever. There's a sick story I can tell you about. We all fall down, that fairy tale. Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies. At first you thought it was about the Black Plague in Europe, but then I heard that the real story was, no, they were just, it was boys circling around a girl or something. Houston, 7.5, 39.5 to Tennessee. Tennessee, the worst team in the league. Cam Ward, why is he the quarterback? Houston, a B team with a 17 defense, but where was it last week? Tennessee, a Z team with a 29. Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Buffalo, 5.5, 49.5. Tampa Bay, an E team, 23 defense, and the Baker. Buffalo, a B team with a 22, who didn't show up in Miami. They weren't playing. They were standing there watching Acme run. It was a joke. It was such a fixed game. That game was fixed, and you fix it right away. They weren't doing anything. They couldn't move offensively. It was all these fumbles and interceptions, and the defense just stood there. What a joke. That's embarrassing. You just beat KC and you let Miami walk all over you. Really? Okay. Something wrong with the coach there. They're fixing games. Okay. This is really becoming the WWF all over sports. Baseball for sure. It's all bullshit. It's all scams, and all they care about is making money, even though they're getting salaries, than they do about showing a good product that's real. This isn't WWF is not real. They know who's going to win. Atlanta 3.5, 42.5 to Carolina. Both teams under 22 defenses. Frisco 3-49 to Arizona. I don't know what Arizona team played last week. They're both E teams with 24 defenses. I'm not sure how good the Niners are, but they do have McCaffrey. LA and Seattle, game of the day. Both A teams. LA 348. Seattle 19 defense. The Rams with the 17. The Rams have Stafford. Darnold's looking good. So this is a very interesting game to pick. Do I take the dog? Do I go over or under? That I got to sort out. KC 3.5, 44.5 to Denver. I saw fours. KC, the 18 with the 18 defense. Denver is probably an 18 with the 17 defense. I know Bo Nix doesn't get up on certain games, but they will be a home dog to KC. They will be up. Denver will be flying all over on the ball here. Baltimore, Cleveland. This is your free pick. Baltimore, 8 and 40.5. They're the over team with the 26 defense. And it's slowly coming down. It was 30, 27, 26. Cleveland, a W team, 23. The key is if your offense keeps the ball, your defense doesn't give up points. Simple. Cleveland, a W, 23 defense. Their defense was better, but Baltimore will make your defense look worse. They have to win. I got 31-13 Baltimore. This is your free play. Take Baltimore, lay the 2. Get it in while you lay the 2. You can play with Marshall. Marshall -1. Yeah, that's gold. Detroit at Philly. Detroit, the 18 with the 22 defense that I don't believe. Philly's 248.5. Oh, Philly has a 21 defense. Oh, Detroit's in trouble because they're not going to run on Jalen Carter. He's going to push the pocket back into Goff's face, and Goff is fucked. He can't handle pressure. He can't. They have to be able to run, and they're not going to be able to run. Being able to run, they couldn't run on Minnie, and being able to run on Washington is like running on Northwestern or something. No, it doesn't. It doesn't count. And now they got. Now here comes Philly, and Philly was a dog last week to Green Bay, a 10-7 game. They're holding Green Bay to 10. What do you think they're going to do to the Lions? Yeah, they won't. They'll get about 10. The Lions will not run up and down and not punt and all this bullshit. Not buying it. I'm not sure total-wise, but Philly will shut down Detroit's defense as Green Bay, Minnesota, and Kansas City did. This ain't Washington or the Bears, teams with weak defenses. So keep that in mind. In our last game, Dallas 3-50 to Oakland. Dallas, the over team with the 31 defense, pretty pathetic. And Oakland, a Z team with the 24 defense. They don't score. So I don't know. Do you take Dallas at Oakland? It's Monday night. Brock Bowers is back. Gentry's back. I hear the offensive line's a problem. I'm not sure I believe that. It's the play calling. I don't believe that. I think Brock Bowers was injured. Oakland showed signs of a defense last week at Denver, 10-7. I don't know. Dallas scores, but Dallas struggled at Arizona. At home against Arizona, they got 17. Then they had a bye last week. I don't know. I mean, Oakland on a Monday night's gonna play, especially with Brock Bowers back. So I don't know if this is Dallas over like it was, because Oakland really is not going to score a lot. So we will see. That's the NFL. I got to update my teaser trends, which I'm going to do right now. I got to cook hamburgers, and that's about it. I think there was a video I wanted to show. So I was, I think, showing you part of this, or I saw this. Las Vegas casinos are panicking. Tourists finally woke up. This is the same thing that's going to happen with the dollar. People will wake up to the dollar, that it's worthless. It's just like they're waking up to Vegas. This has to be a plan. They can't be this stupid by pushing everybody away, having no customers, nobody's buying food, drinks, nobody's even there. You're laying off all these people. You can't be this stupid. If your prices are over market, you lower your prices. Everybody knows that if they're going into business. What do I sell the price? What do I sell my goods or services at? You're selling food and liquor and hotels. You can't be this stupid. So it's got to be China doing it where they don't. China's maybe paying the rent. and they're just letting it die. And then China's going to buy everything for pennies on the dollar. They're going to buy Caesar's Palace, like I said, for 2 ounces of gold. This is what's going to happen. But they can't be this stupid. These are great. So get a chance, look at the Lore Labor Rith, Levy Rith. The real story. These are really dark stories that Disney lightens up and makes the prince and the girl. Notice how Disney's always with prince and princesses and kings and queens and jacks. The real story is not. It's pretty bad. Here's the sphere, 2.3 billion. Yeah, nobody, there's no demand. This is electric cars. You build something there's no demand for, it's very expensive. Nobody wants it. Nobody's got $400 to go in. I don't know what it is, and I have no reason to see it. And therefore it cost you 2.3 billion. Who paid for that? The city or the guy who owns Madison Square Garden? Did he pay the 2.3 billion, or did the government pay most of it? But it's collapsing and it's going out of business. So yeah, I don't like this. The government plan to reprice gold and buy Bitcoin. Uh, that's a joke. Bitcoin's not real, as I said. You're going to reprice gold, but they don't have any gold. So how can they? What does it do if they don't have gold to reprice it? And keep in mind, gold is the whole world: BRICS, China, Russia, and everybody. It's not U.S. So the U.S. can't reprice it. China prices gold right now. See, I don't like this guy. It's just triggered. China just triggered the gold price. I mean, it's like, but if you watch it, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. That's why it's very hard to. Here you go. Mass layoffs, Fountain Blue collapse. So we just saw Caesars collapse, Bellagio collapse, Fountain Blue collapsing. Thousands of workers with sudden pink slips, I believe. Mass layoffs. So Vegas is finally now. Why aren't they lowering prices? Right. All you got to do is take everything back. Hotel rooms for $25 with none, free drinks, free parking, no resort fees, normal price food. But why don't they do that? Why are they laying everybody off and continuing with the charade of the resort fees, the parking, and all the other crap? So that's why I believe the Chinese are behind it, because all you got to do is lower your prices back to where they were. Why aren't you? I like this one. Vegas is empty. Only an idiot would visit Vegas right now. I love it. Well, if you want to pay extra $30 hamburgers, you would. But Ukraine military collapsing, 11,000 captured. If you want to see, I'm gonna show you what Odessa looks like uh, right now. Okay, this is from Jenna. This is Odessa. See how dark it is? You can kind of hear the bombs going off. So, welcome to the war that nobody wants to realize is what the fuck's going on. I've asked her to come here, but she's got family there and she won't. Let's see. See, I don't buy this. Casino CEOs are firing everyone and getting rich from it. Uh, how are they getting rich from it? That doesn't make sense. All right. This is a woman who is fucking around with Bitcoin or something. So let's watch another digital Ponzi scheme, as I try to warn you about.
They're arresting her on suspicion of laundering billions of pounds in stolen assets. But to understand how, this is the moment police break into the home of Chinese national Jimin Qian.
Oh, it's an action picture.
Police! She's the mastermind behind the biggest money laundering scam in British history and earned herself 11 and a half years behind bars.
We believe you're Jimin Qian. Okay, you're under arrest. You're going to be arrested for money laundering.
They're arresting her on suspicion of laundering billions of pounds in stolen assets. But to understand how she got here, we need to go back to 2014. Back then, Qian set up a so-called investment firm called ncaa, or Blue Sky in English. It claimed to be developing high-end health products and to be mining cryptocurrency, with promised returns of up to 300% for its investors. Qian held flashy conferences and grand banquets to lure in her victims. That includes.
So if you hear a 300% of return, are you actually going to invest in that? Doesn't it seem like something doesn't make sense? Nobody's giving you 300% return. That's impossible if it's legal and real. That's what I'd worry about. So when you hear that, don't walk to the door, run. But don't start, oh, I'm going to get 300. See, and that's how they get you into believing you're going to get rich, 300%. No, you can't. You can't without explanation. We're going to make money in gold because gold can't be printed. Now you understand it. You're the one buying it, and you understand why you're buying it and why you're making money at it. And that's the key. Not, well, it'll be a Ponzi scheme and digital, and that's how you'll make 300%.
We did one event at the Great Hall of the People where Chinese politicians meet. She even commissioned a promotional video advertising a luxury life in London for its investors. The video promoted a wealth management service called Britain Nice Life. It described the UK as the best private butler base, and even has an eagle flying over a mountain range to the sound of dramatic music. And it showcased all of England's classic landmarks like Windsor Castle, St. Paul's Cathedral, and the Old Reading Church. But despite the cheesy promo, Qian was incredibly effective. The serial fraudster managed to convince 128,000 people, including thousands of pensioners, to hand over their life savings. But in 2017, wanted by Chinese authorities, Qian took the money and fled to Europe. She invested the money in cryptocurrency, now worth a staggering £5.5 billion. She used it to fund a luxurious lifestyle, traveling Europe, using a fake passport, staying at the best hotels, and buying designer jewelry at their expense.
These other people that are in crypto or in Bitcoin, you want to play with them? This is what's going to happen to you. If you think Bitcoin's real, it's for drug dealers and it's for scammers who can hide, right? They take their money, put it in the crypto, and off they go. And this is what you want to be involved with. That's why digital, it's not real money. It's just money laundering and getting out of things and being hidden. And fake passport. These are the people in Bitcoin. So good luck with that.
Tastes even earned her the nickname the Goddess of Wealth. And this crypto queen, as she was also called, had a detailed 6-year plan laying out her ambitions for a new life in Europe. That included becoming the Queen of Lieberland, an unrecognized microstate consisting mostly of barren wetland on the Croatian-Serbian border. Later in 2017, Chien set her sights on England. She landed in Heathrow with a fake passport and rented a £17,000 per month mansion in Hampstead. Police raided the property in 2018 after her younger female assistant attempted to buy a £24 million home in London. That assistant, Jian Wen, was later jailed for 6 years for her part in laundering the money and ordered to pay back over £3 million. Prosecutors described how she acted as a front person, helping to secure luxury properties for her employer while disguising the true source of her fortune. Investigators found over £300,000 in cash and cheques at Chien's Hampstead home, and even a treasure map showing directions from a Harrods department store to a nearby safety deposit box. There they found devices containing the digital wallets for billions of pounds in cryptocurrency. Chien, though, slipped through the net again and went on the run across the UK for 5 years, living as a recluse in Glasgow and the Scottish Highlands. Investigators at the Met Police and the National Crime Agency finally traced her to a property in York, where she was lying in bed when police broke in.
I've just got to record down your name, if that is all right. So what's your first name, please?
Yadi Zhang.
Okay. Can you spell that at all for me?
Y-A.
Yep.
D-I.
D-I. So you got Y-A.
Yeah.
D-I.
Zhang. C-H-A-N-G.
Is that your surname, Zhang?
Yeah.
And Yadi's your first name?
Yeah.
And are you Miss?
Anyway.
Mrs.?
Just, what could I say? Anyway. So, as you can see, anyway, that's what's going on. Let's see what else we got. So Caesar's Palace has fallen, as is the Bellagio. Silver prices already collapsed. We showed this one, the billionaires breaking Vegas. Again, you can't really do anything with that. Vegas is empty. We know that. Here, BlackRock's credit collapses 100%, becoming worthless. So there you go. These real estate trusts, be careful of those. It's like the mortgage, right? It's only good if people pay the mortgage, and then whoever they're paying it to, the bank, will then give you your 5 or 8% on the real estate trust. But if they fail to pay the mortgage, that's it. It's the same thing here. That's what I was going to do. Let me show you. Um, hmm. It was I wanted to read the description of the I thought I started of what a real estate trust, what Vegas is doing with the real estate. But anyway, to put it bluntly, again, they're buying up these properties and then they're paying rent. So it's just like you own houses, right? So you own 20 houses in a real estate trust and people pay the rent, and then you take that rent and you sell it to people. And it's the same thing here. The people buy it only works if you pay your mortgage on your house. If you don't pay the mortgage on the house, you don't get the real estate trust. You don't get your 8%, like in Attack on Wall Street. He had 60,000 and they just shut him out. And it's the same thing here. You don't get, if it's Vegas and it's casinos and places, resorts that you're trying to get the real estate trust from, it only works if they pay the mortgage. If they don't pay the mortgage, then they can't do it. So that's the other point. If they're not paying the mortgage, you're not collecting, and then they'll just cancel the real estate trust, and you won't collect, which is what 2008 was about. I think that's about it. All right, time for lunch. Questions, comments before I leave? Atomic, Mr. Rooster. 28% is the max. Most people won't pay that on their gold sales. Again, you're going to get taxed if you get a 1099. If you don't get 1099, you don't get it. It's just like you only pay tax on your income if you got a W-2, or if you own your own business, then you got to pay taxes on it. But like I said, if you're in the casino and you win at poker, you don't pay tax on that money. If you sell your gold, if you get 1099, you're going to pay tax on it. If you don't, you won't. And you're not going to sell your gold. You don't want to. U.S. government isn't changing their ways. I would much rather have hard assets, but that's been the case, for 50 years. And that's true. That's the case of it. You don't do it. But, the IRS isn't even in business right now. Would you rather hold dollars? Hold dollars. But gold, you don't pay tax unless you sell your gold, which you're not going to do, because what are you going to buy with it? So maybe you sell an ounce here and there for a trip or some bills, but that's it. You're not selling a bunch of gold for a lot of money. That's just nonsense. Why would you sell a bunch of gold for a lot of money for? It doesn't make any sense. So That's not the point of buying the gold. Like I said, it's like buying the Picasso. You're not buying it to sell it. You're buying it because you like Picasso, and the fact it makes money is great. That's not why you buy it. I didn't buy a mantle card to sell it. Now I could sell it and get money out of it, but you didn't buy a lot of the card. I didn't buy the Montana rookie to sell, but now it's 100,000. If it's a 10, I might sell it. But to say why'd you buy it? You're not going to sell it. It's just ridiculous. Gold is not an investment. It's a safety to get out of dollar because the dollar is worthless. If you don't think the dollar is worthless, I don't know what to tell you. But that's the story of this game. All right, free picks. Baltimore against Cleveland. Get it in before it goes to 9. And we've got Marshall 7 over Georgia State. Get it down to 1. Georgia State, the Z team. Marshall, pretty good offense. Should score on that. We got to keep our eye on some injuries. Mississippi State's quarterback, Virginia's quarterback. Those are the two main we want to see. Anyway, some good games this weekend. Let's see what gold and silver are at now. Oh, 4,200. Wow, silver's up to 53.40 and gold's 4,200. I'm rounding. So it did hit 4,200 on its way. So I really don't get the tax comments at all. It's no different than, it's a lot different than a stock, but you're not, again, if you don't get 1099, you don't pay tax on it. You don't pay tax by holding it. There's no savings tax like you would if you put your money in the bank and they gave you 3%. So anyway, that's what's going on. So buy your gold. And again, if you don't get 1099, there's no worry for tax. And you don't get 1099 on most of it. If you just sell an ounce or two, you're not going to get 1099. So you're not going to pay tax. So I don't really know what the guy's so worried about. But yeah, I mean, there's limits. Like if you can sell like 5 ounces of gold, there's no tax on it. There's no 1099. So anyway, that's what's going on. Oh, we put it in the bank. Why would you put it in the bank? That's pretty stupid. All right. Have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Reviewing football today. I got to cook some hamburgers and off we go. So have a good day and I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Take care.